We've seen a transformation in healthcare facilities and healthcare design, learning from the model of hospitality, taking a more hospitality-led approach to healthcare facility design. There's this sort of critique of healthcare facilities that they're a little bit inhumane in that it's a little bit of a conveyor belt of service, patient, and discharge. Whereas in a more hospitality-led environment, it's much more experiential and it's much more subtle. One has to remember that healthcare facilities have already been designed to, fundamentally control infection, very carefully curated in terms of circulation and controlling that spread of virus in a healthcare facility. Is your wayfinding and circulation experience stress-free? Is the waiting area and clinical environment have the necessary privacy, services, and amenity to make you as comfortable as possible in what is probably one of the more stressful interactions of your day, if not your life, the discharging process or the process of checking out of these facilities, not queuing up and waiting in line to pay, to have a sort of area that's almost a sort of checkout lounge. These are the types of things that are now, we are now trying to build into the design of our healthcare facilities. There's of course an overlay of technology in the future of healthcare. Technology is infiltrating all of our lives and presumably making one's lives easier and more seamless in lots of different ways. But particularly in healthcare facilities, technology is subsidizing or alleviating some of the friction that might have been there in the past. Wellness is a sort of tangent to healthcare, but one sort of common thread through a lot of these healthcare and wellness facilities are the sort of wet areas. What is that experience of a shower, the touchless urinal, the touchless wash basin, getting the right temperature at the right flow rate at the right time. A lot of innovation and engineering has to go behind such performative qualities of sanitary ware, and so in healthcare and wellness facilities specifically, that sort of wet area experience is so important. Healthcare facilities are one of the most regulated facilities, if not the most regulated. Regulations are key in ensuring the sort of base level of care, but then one has to exceed those minimum benchmarks to deliver the highest level of service, and particularly in healthcare to facilitate that healing process. When you then talk about aged communities and elderly homes, well, in the same way that healthcare facilities are taking cues from hospitality, so are these aged communities. Living nowadays is expensive for the elderly facilities that not only provide all these touch points for design and user experience, but also allow them to save, frankly. And one way to do that is through, very efficient, usage of water. Traditionally, we lay out a washroom. We call it the 5-fixture washroom. You have the toilet, you have the bidet, but instead of having to make that move from toilet to bidet, looking at fixtures with more combined functions, the washing, the drying, again, as frictionless as possible, as seamless as possible, as minimal as possible, whilst still feeling luxurious. Our approach to wet areas is that of minimalism, reducing the number of fixtures, not only for a very sort of understated look, but also to minimize the number of movements, particularly in accessible wet areas. So the GROHE Sense Arena, with these combined functions of wash, dry, the sort of toilet bidet combined in one, is a really elegant solution, not only for the combined functionality that it provides, the reduction in number of fixtures that one has, and above all, as a designer, aesthetics play a key role in a lot of our decision making for selecting fixtures, and with its clean lines and minimal design, it aligns with our ethos and approach, but also satisfies that sort of brief of minimizing the number of fixtures and touch points in the wet area. If you look at the GROHE thermostatic mixers, for example, it also aligns with our sort of ethos of minimalism and minimizing those touch points with two very legible, clear levers that are ergonomically designed for those with a little bit less dexterity, easy to grab, easy to operate, and very precise in their functionality. These are all the things that sort of help in the experience of these wet areas, particularly in elderly homes.